Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for all my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And this is an opinion-based video channel where I try to raise the consciousness of my listeners through our eyeballs and our ears while we're navigating through this busy life. With work, raising kids, grandkids, family members, doing the daily things that we do all the time. And sometimes we don't get a chance to watch the national media or social media news. And I present you true crime stories and other ancillary stories that are affecting us each and every day. And I want to send a shout out for those who have been contributing to my channel. And for those who want to contribute, I have a Cash App at $Trevor Donald 20. That's Cash App $Trevor Donald 20. And any contributions or support is much appreciated. Well, yesterday I talked a little bit about an incident that happened on a Metro bus here in St. Louis, where a gentleman ended up shooting and killing two strangers. For him saying that one guy stared at him in a strange way and too long. He got out of his stolen car, shot the bus, then got on the bus and committed to murdering two innocent strangers. Well, that happened a few days ago. And then yesterday in New York City, and I've talked about how dangerous some of our metro transit systems are throughout our country. The Chicago L, the New York subway, the LA bus stations, bus stops and busing, Philadelphia and many of our major cities. There's chaos and disruption all day long, and there's tons of mental illness. People that are mentally ill that are riding these public transportation vehicles, and sometimes crazy things happen. Well, it happened in New York. Here we go. Cell phone video reveals woman stabbed man before subway shooting. Brooklyn, New York. Charges are pending against a 32-year-old man who shot another man during a dispute on a Brooklyn subway train. Police say chaos unfolded on the A train at around 4:45 p.m. Thursday at the Hoyt-Schermerhorn station. MTA CEO Janno Lieber and NYPD Chief of Transit Michael Kemper briefed the public Friday morning on the latest details from Thursday's attack. As a 32-year-old man boarded the train, he was approached by a 36-year-old man who was already on the train, and a dispute ensued. Officials revealed that cell phone video from the shooting shows a woman was also involved. There was a female that was on the train, apparently with the 32-year-old man. It looks like on that video. It captures her involvement in the incident also. It looks like she had a sharp object and cut the 36-year-old man with that sharp object, Kemper said. The woman appeared to stab the victim in the lower back. Authorities say that after he was stabbed, the 36-year-old man asked, "Did you stab me?" He pulled a gun from his jacket and asked again, "Did you stab? You stabbed me, right?" The 32-year-old man was able to grab the gun and strike the other man in the head. Cell phone video captured the dispute between the two men and the frantic moments as passengers scrambled to safety when the shots rang out. One woman can be heard screaming, "Let me out, let me out." As I'm coming out, you hear pops, like 3 or 4 shots. Pop, pop, pop. Then the doors open. Everyone comes flying out, one commuter said. "I don't think I was going to make it back home. I was next to everything, just like you are in front of me. That's where I was," another commuter recalled. The train pulled into the Hoyt-Schermerhorn station, where officers heard the shots and flooded the crime scene. The 36-year-old was taken to New York Presbyterian Brooklyn Methodist Hospital in critical condition. Authorities say a gun was recovered at the scene. Lieber says there is no place for guns on the train. I'm here to thank the officers who intervened and responded so quickly, Lieber said Friday. As people were rushing up the stairs, they rushed down the stairs. They rushed up and down the stairs and made an immediate apprehension. That's bravery, that's courage. Lieber also thanked Governor Hochul and Mayor Adams. He says their commitment to rider safety, crime deterrence, and crime prevention is paramount. Transit crime is only 2% of the crime in the city of New York, but it has a huge disproportionate impact on people's sense of safety. Officials say the 32-year-old who fired the weapon in Thursday's attack is in custody with charges pending. Adams spoke about the incident Friday morning and how police and other safety resources are important underground. A person with severe mental health illness, what appears to be severe mental health illness, got engaged in a violent way and a violent crime. The investigation is going to take its course, Adams said. An investigation is underway. So just as I said to you yesterday, even in St. Louis, Missouri, you have the St. Louis Metro Transit System that has had innumerable amount of shootings. There was even a guard who had just gotten out of the military, who has started working as a Metro Transit guard, who got shot in the head and killed on De Bolivar in the city of St. Louis near Forest Park a year or two ago. A young man who had a family, had young kids, he got murdered. Guards on our metro system cannot have weapons. That's been a big issue and a big dispute. There's been so many crimes that St. Louis County police officers do patrol the Metro Link transit system in the St. Louis County and suburbs sometimes, and check IDs, check people for warrants. But there's been a high volume. There was a judge, a wheelchair-bound judge, who was assaulted at the downtown Metro Link stop a year or two ago. There's been several murders. There was a murder in East St. Louis Metro Link stop. And as I said in my previous videos, public safety is a real issue. The Chicago L is extremely dangerous. The CTA bus system, the Chicago Transit Authority, is very dangerous. New York City has had a plethora of issues that have taken place throughout the years in their underground subway all the time. Just recently, a gentleman who was playing the cello got assaulted by a lady, hit over the head. There are incidences in New York City almost every day. But this one is terribly troubling because a passenger went on the New York subway with a gun and ended up shooting, and now the guy is in critical condition at the hospital, shooting him in the head. We have to attack, as I've been saying from day one, mental illness, the opioid crisis, joblessness, homelessness, and this is a terrible time for this to take place at the New York subway. You have this migrant crisis issue that is decimating New York City under Mayor Adams and Governor Holcomb's leadership. You have several migrants that are committing crimes, which I said, which I predicted, because there's been no vetting of all of these people crossing our borders. And this is, they have assaulted police. You have all kinds of crimes taking place. Also, you have to remember that in New York City last year, they lost 2,800 police officers, either through early retirement or they left the force before they even got their 25 years in. It is a profession that is highly disrespected. It is a very dangerous profession. One of the professions, when you leave home, you don't know if you're coming back. New York instituted bail reform, which has decimated New York City. You have people that have shoplifted over 100 times in 1 year and have gotten arrested and have gotten out the same day. You have people that have committed assaults over 30 and 40 times who have gotten out the same day. Years before, New York City used to be a very stringent crime forbearance kind of city. If you got caught with a gun, even the first time in the 90s, you got 5 years no matter what and headed to Rikers Island. So they swung the pendulum from being way too conservative to now way too lenient with bail reform. Chicago, Chicago CTA, Chicago L system, very dangerous. There are all kinds of armed robberies and assaults that are taking place each and every day up by DePaul University, the Chicago Loop, and the state of Illinois decided to enact a Safety Act, where if you commit a minor infraction, a minor crime, you can get out under your own recognizance and show up in court on your own 30 days later. And what do you think the percentage of people that are coming back to court 30 days later that have committed a crime, got caught, and they're going to see what the judge sends them to jail, give them probation? No, they're not showing up. LA County has a cashless bail system, and the state of California has been decimated with crimes, shoplifting, and looting. Chicago, New York, California, three of our biggest cities and states, San Francisco, Oakland, and then on top of the cashless bail system or the Safety Act or bail reform, we have defunding of the police. And as soon as a crime takes place, who is the first person that people are calling? The police. So defunding the police is not going to increase our public safety. It's decreasing it. People are not afraid to commit crimes. They're not afraid to go to jail. There are many individuals, and we have a complete underbelly in our communities of individuals who are helpless and hopeless, and they see no way out, and committing felonious crimes is not above their reproach, and not afraid to go to jail, and not afraid of the police. We have created an entire atmosphere of chaos and disruption all the way around, and it is rotting away our public safety. People are afraid to leave their homes, to go to work, to go to the mall. Amazon stock is going to go through the roof. People are going to push a button, have everything sent home. DoorDash is going to go through the roof. But while all these crimes are taking place in our public and our transit systems, where there's the Metrolink here in St. Louis, Chicago subway, the Chicago L, the New York subway, when these kinds of crimes, this gentleman getting shot in the head, this gentleman that was in New York, but this gentleman in St. Louis who got on the Metrolink bus and shot and killed two innocent strangers. What do you think happens to tourism? What do you think happens to convention events for your city? There's a reason why Chicago downtown has a 50% commercial vacancy rate. People are leaving. Who's going to want to go visit these kinds of cities with this high volume of crime? People are afraid to go from the suburbs in the city down to a St. Louis Cardinals baseball game because you're going to have fun and spend money and participate in the vibrancy of the city and the Cardinals, but you may get accosted or assaulted either getting to the game or leaving the game. All these mayors and city council people and individuals that are in our political and legislative arena, we need to talk and voice our opinion about public safety. It is becoming a real problem. Our schools, high schools, our junior highs are inundated with corruption and dangerous behavior, fighting, disrespectful behavior, disrespectful language. The kids won't listen to the teachers. They won't listen to the administrators, let alone are they even listening to their parents. So we're having a complete over volume of negative, deleterious behavior that's taking place throughout many of our major cities. And just when you turn your back on it or close your eyes to it, it can happen to you. The opioid crisis, mental illness, and criminal activity is not based on zip code, city, county, black, white, race, gender, creed, or identity. It can happen to anyone. And we need to have more video channels and more people holding our legislators and our politicians accountable to make each and every one of our cities safe. We don't want anything to happen to it. Whether if it doesn't happen to you, what about your daughter? What about your niece? What about your granddaughter? And until it happens to them, many people are not in an uproar and an upcry. But I am. We are facing a time where we are having complete civil unrest. There has been a complete breakdown of a symbiotic relationship with our police force and our citizens. Both parties need to do a better job. We need to hire better police officers. We don't need to defund them. If your house catches on fire, you call the fire department. If you get sick, you go to the hospital and see a doctor. And none of these individuals, firemen, police officers, doctors, lawyers, judges, would even exist without great teachers. We need to increase paying teachers more. They have a plethora of things that they have to deal with these kids each and every day. They are devalued and undervalued. Our police force is undervalued and devalued. And we need to get back to a restoration of hope, solitude, and positivity. So this situation that happened yesterday on the New York subway is happening all the time, and it's killing and destroying the positive marketing plan that many of these cities are having to want to bring people to their city. St. Louis, their population numbers are declining each and every year. Each and every year. It just came out yesterday. And people are leaving. People are leaving Chicago. People are leaving Philadelphia. People are leaving New York City. And there has been a heavy burden that's been placed with all of these external negative stimuli that are affecting our overall mental health, physical health, financial health, and we need to do something about it. New York City has brought in the National Guard. As I told you, they're down 2,800 police officers. Chicago is down 1,000. St. Louis is down 450 police officers in their metropolitan area. St. Louis City jails need over 150 correctional officers. St. Louis County needs almost 80 to 100. So the numbers of public safety participants and workers are decreasing while crime is increasing. And for those who think that defunding the police and we're going to police ourselves is an answer, you are absolutely wrong. Kids are fighting each other at school, and they're having fights like they're on prison yards where kids are ending up dead. A kid got stabbed at Jennings Junior High on the way home from school, like he was getting shanked on a prison yard. A young lady, 15 years old, got beat so bad and got her head banged on Cement Street that she is in a coma in ICU at a local hospital. We have to talk about the amount and level of crimes and the hatred that human beings are having for each other in these cities. Our humanity and our hope, those two H words, are just being decimated and dissipated from our vocabulary and our way of life. So New York City has a state of emergency, and the National Guard is there, and they have a huge migrant issue. Bail reform has been a problem. Homelessness has always been a problem. Chicago has a state of emergency with the Safety Act in the state of Illinois. There's homelessness, the migrant issue, and then the entire state of California, just to name a few. We have to do something about it. So this just took place on the New York subway yesterday. A couple days before, a guy gets on the metro bus station in St. Louis, gets on a metro bus, shoots and kills two individuals because he said they stared at him too long. He had a long history of crimes and convictions. and he needed, and drug addiction, and he has gotten out several times, and look what it led up to. Do I think he should have been incarcerated for 20 years? No. But all of those minor arrests and convictions led, and he did do some jail time. Look what it has led to. Now he's going to hopefully spend 20, if not his life, in prison for killing two innocent people. Uh, it is making it very dangerous. Many people use public transportation to go to the Chicago Cubs game, to go to the St. Louis Cardinals games, and I'm sure to go to the New York Yankees and Mets games. Why would, if you're going somewhere to be happy, why would you have to be nervous as hell if you, your wife, and your children, and I definitely wouldn't take my children on the public transportation. If I'm not driving and parking and paying $50 or $100 in the parking lot, there's no way in hell I would have my kids, if I had young kids, on any of these public transportation systems in these major cities. There's too much of a high propensity and probability for crime, and the last thing you want is something to happen to your child while you're trying to go to a positive event that turns into something traumatic and negative and detrimental and possible death. The mayors need to get together. More and more people need to put up videos and talk about how we are tired of this level of crime. A lot of this crime, unfortunately, I also have to tell you before I end this video, that is from people of color. This shoplifting, this looting, this gun violence, and that needs to stop. We are looking in the mirror and we are hating ourselves. And this propensity and high volume of people of color committing violent crimes and even murder needs to stop. It's enough of it. We are having a complete purging, and we are having a generation of the children of the corn that is decimating our moral and ethical code in our society today. Mental illness is real. The opioid crisis is real. Homelessness is real. Helplessness and hopelessness is also real. Tell me what you think. This has been the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth in a positive, righteous, and God-fearing way.